Did you know that all US dollars used to be called certificates or notes? Well, the faces of US paper bills have significantly changed from early ages until this present day. From early America using the origin of paper bills, through Martha Washington being the first female on the paper bill, to Benjamin Franklin being on the $100 bill. Not to mention the lady herself, Miss Harriet Tubman, about to be on the new $20 bill, which I will get to. The American Numismatic Society cites that the origin of the paper money was first authorized by any government in the Western world in 1690. When the Revolutionary War came around, each of the 13 colonies governments had discharged their own currency problems, and Great Britain tried to oppress them for it. The year 1775 represents when paper money was first introduced, trying to meet military expenses. By 1862, modern design started to be incorporated with paper money to further protect against counterfeit purposes. According to George Washington's Mount Vernon, Martha Washington is the first and only woman to be the primary picture of the dollar silver certificate. The printing process started in 1886 and was discontinued in 1957. It was also the country's second longest issued paper money. If I can think of how Washington felt, she would have probably said something like, "George, my dearest George, all I can say is thank you. Not only were you lucky enough to marry a great woman, but you were also able to get me on a paper certificate. No other woman ever gets an opportunity like this one, and I am no doubtedly grateful to be known as First Lady. Just wait till supper. I'm making the slave cooks make my infamous whiskey cake." Moving on to bigger bills, we have Benjamin Franklin being the face portrait of the $100 bill. Reported by the U.S. Currency Education Program, it was created in 1914. However, over time, they modified all of the denominations that they had on the old $100 bill because of the recent counterfeit activities that happened over time. So they happened to add the 3D security ribbon and also a watermark that's hidden on the side of the bill. Now you can't actually see it, but there's some light that actually detects that just to see if they're real. So concluding my speech, I can rightfully say that we take money on faces for granted because although one may question about it, they will still only be interested in the value of currency. Now, Harriet Tubman, she happens to be one of America's known greatest historians, and so they decided that they wanted to try to put her on the $20 bill and give Jackson the boot.
Since he always hated banks, and old Hickory would probably be pretty ticked off at the U.S. Treasury if he were alive today. That's because the federal government just announced that they are booting Jackson off the front of the $20 bill in favor of Harriet Tubman. Tubman will be the first woman to grace paper money in the U.S. Tubman, the iconic abolitionist who helped hundreds of slaves find freedom as conductor of the Underground Railroad. She was also a Union spy, nurse, and cook during the Civil War. Today, former presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson said he disagrees with the decision that there are other ways to honor Harriet Tubman. It's a notable quote since Carson was on the stage when I asked the Republican presidential candidates about this topic last September.
Any questions or concerns?
Does she really like whiskey cake?
Yes, actually, yeah, so she always